Day 24. In a nutshell, one who speaks Lashon Hara is guilty of not going in Hashem's ways. When Lashon Hara is false, one has transgressed the mitzvah of to distance yourself from falsehood, to go in his ways. Rabbi Rabbi, one of the great leaders of our day, was a legend in his time. He combined within himself all the good qualities one can seek in a human being. His kindness was without limit. His advice was very practical, clear, and correct. He never veered from the truth and always walked in the path of peace. How does one define in one sentence the essence of this tzaddik? Someone put it this way: Rapam's heart beat with the qualities contained within the mitzvah of V'alachta b'drachav. You should go in his ways. A Jew is commanded to emulate the ways of Hashem. In Sifri's words, He, Hashem, is merciful, so you should be merciful. He bestows kindness, so you should bestow kindness. Rapam was so beloved because throughout his long life he went in Hashem's ways, relating to every person he met with kindness, empathy, and love. When a person speaks Lashon Hara, he is not going in the ways of Hashem. Instead of showing love and spreading goodwill, he is causing harm and hurt. Therefore, he transgresses the mitzvah of V'alachta b'drachav. Chofetz Chaim cites the tragic episode of Achan in Sefer Yoshua to illustrate how Hashem utterly detests Lashon Hara. Achan committed a terrible sin by secretly taking some of the spoils of war when the Jews conquered the city of Jericho. Because of this, Jewish soldiers fell in the very next battle. Hashem revealed to Yeshua ben Nun that one man's sin had caused these deaths, but he did not reveal the identity of the sinner. Achan was later discovered through a divinely directed lottery. Our sages relate that when Yeshua asked the name of the sinner, Hashem replied, "Am I a talebearer that I should reveal his name? Cast a lottery and let the sinner be identified through it." Of course, the Gorel identified the sinner only because Hashem caused it to do so. Nevertheless, by refusing the identity to identify Achan outright, Hashem was teaching the Jewish people how reluctant they should be to say something negative about anyone, even when the halakha requires that such statements be made litoelis for constructive purpose. Surely to say something negative for no constructive reason should be detestable to all. Whatever has been written thus far applies to Lashon Hara. That is true. If Lashon Hara is false, then it is classified as Hotzah Shemra, and the sin is even worse. It is also a transgression of Midvar Sheker Tirchak. Distance yourself from falsehood. Chofetz Chaim has enumerated 17 negative commandments and 14 positive commandments that one can be guilty of when speaking Lashon Hara. Of course, it is impossible to transgress all of them at once. However, says Chofetz Chaim, if someone is in the habit of speaking Lashon Hara, then over the course of time, he will come to transgress all 31 of these mitzvahs. Not a very pleasant thought. In a nutshell, one who speaks Lashon Hara is guilty of not going in the ways of Hashem. When Lashon Hara is false, one has transgressed the mitzvah of distance yourself from falsehood. Day 25. In a nutshell, 3 of the 12 curses in the Torah apply to those who speak Lashon Hara. This in the end will conclude the Chofetz Chaim's introduction, which he says should be reviewed again and again. Avoid being cursed. Upon entering Eretz Yisroel after their 40 years in the Midbar, the Jewish people renewed their eternal relationship with Hashem and His Torah. They inscribed the entire Torah upon 12 huge stones. They offered karbanos, and they stood upon 2 mountains, where they responded Amen to the blessings and the curses. Of the 12 curses that were uttered, 3 are related to the sin of Lashon Hara. Ora makereya b'seser. Curse is the one who attacks his neighbor in secret. As Rashi comments, this refers to someone who attacks his neighbor by speaking Lashon Hara about him without his knowledge. Ora miske iver b'derech. Curse is the one who causes a blind person to go astray in the road. We have already learned that both one who speaks and one who listens to Lashon Hara transgresses this Avera. Before a blind person, do not place a stumbling block. which forbids us to cause another Jew to sin. This curse applies to anyone who transgresses that sin. If someone approaches Lashon Hara as something that is perfectly acceptable and therefore speaks Lashon Hara regularly, then curse is the one who will not uphold the words of the Torah. Applies to him as well. This curse refers to anyone who does not accept upon himself to observe all 613 mitzvahs. In the Chafetz Chaim's words, a person who treats Lashon Hara as something that is hefker, something that is not to be taken seriously, that can be disregarded, is no different than someone who accepts upon himself 612 mitzvahs instead of 613. Chafetz Chaim adds, his sin is too great to bear. After listing the 31 mitzvahs that can be transgressed through Lashon Hara and the curses that apply to those who engage in it, Chafetz Chaim concludes that Lashon Hara can bring out the worst in a person. People who make a habit of maligning others show a tendency towards anger, cruelty, and a host of other negative traits. Because Lashon Hara is so destructive to the subject, the speaker, and the listener, and to the entire Jewish nation, there is a specific mitzvah, lo selech rachel b'amecha, do not go as a gossip monger among your people, that prohibits it. Chafetz Chaim concludes his introduction by urging us to review it again and again. For it is compiled from the words of the Rishonim, whose holy, pure words are aflame like fiery torches. Surely they guarded their tongues against Lashon Hara to the fullest extent possible. Therefore, their words have a powerful effect upon those who read them. In a nutshell, again, 3 of the 12